Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, Mells Wargo never makes a mistake. How my great-grandfather got into the firehouse. 2. Helpful. My great-grandpa had a cure. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Mells Wargo never makes a mistake. This is my grandfather's story, and dates back to the 60s. My grandfather was a first-generation American, the youngest son of 8 children, son of English immigrants. He met his sweetheart at age 19, and married her soon after. Her family were Californios, Mexican citizens who became Americans due to CA becoming a part of the U.S., and suffered some prejudice due to their heritage. My grandfather used to go to the bank with his father-in-law to make sure that he was able to cash his paychecks without issues. One time bank teller passed him his money instead of counting it out, so after leaving the counter he counted up the funds and found that the teller had accidentally given him twice the amount shown on the check. So my grandfather and his father-in-law went back up to the teller, and said, "Excuse me ma'am, but I think you made a mistake." Looking down her nose at him, she said in a condescending tone of voice, "Mells Wargo never makes a mistake." Being an honest guy, the FIL said, "But," then my grandfather stopped him and said, "You heard her, Mells Wargo never makes a mistake. Let's go." And off they went. How my great-grandfather got into the firehouse. So my great-grandfather, the FIL, was the first Latino hired to a fire department in a very large CA city. He, along with the sole African American, were told their living quarters were in a glorified shed in back of the firehouse. Naturally both were pissed about it, but what were you going to do? Well, my great-grandfather was a darn smart man, and had been trained to cook very well by his mother. So, he hatched a plan. He brought in a camp stove and a fan, put the fan in the window, and the camp stove behind it. He proceeded to cook the most amazing smelling meals, while the boys in the big house were struggling to not to burn their hot dogs and hamburgers night after night. The other firefighters would wander by the shed to see what was cooking and see if they could score a plate. His answer was something along the lines of, "Well dang, sorry, our quarters aren't really suited to cooking for more than 2, shame we can't live in the firehouse where there is a proper kitchen to feed everyone from." It didn't take long before the segregated quarters were back to being a shed. He took his turn cooking like all the guys, and you can bet they looked forward to his meals. 2. Helpful. My great-grandpa had a cure. The last of my grandfather's funny stories, once again, happened to his father-in-law. My great-grandfather was a firefighter, and there was always one policeman who would race to arrive at accidents and other scenes first. He'd stick out his chest and act like the big man while the firefighters were working, and help direct things that didn't need directing. One day he was, once again first, acting the big man. He turned to my great-grandfather and made the mistake of offering help. My grandfather handed him a bucket, pointed to an object near the accident and said, "Sure, can you go pick that up for me?" "Sure," the officer said, and walked over, to find a severed head from a motorcycle accident. He was never first to arrive again, and sure as hell didn't offer help anymore. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.